Hello! I was just filming my October Fairyly unboxing and I realised I should probably film my October wrap-up, so while I'm here and everything's set up, I'm just doing it. And I'm going to keep this brief like I did with my August and September wrap-up because I feel like I have, even if you haven't seen all of the vlogs yet, I have vlogged reading basically every single one of these books, so I really don't need to go into detail because you will get that detail in the vlogs, or you may have already watched them, so I'm just going to keep it brief. So in October I was doing my reading, or catching up with reading my book box books. I don't know why I find that so difficult to say. Sub box books, and I did reasonably well with that, I think, and then I also did a Halloween style reading weekend, the final weekend of October. So I'm just going to run through everything that I read in the order that I read it. Oh, actually, before I tell you what books I did read, let me tell you the books that I DNF'd. So I actually DNF'd She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan, which I'm actually really sad about, and it's kind of a soft DNF. I don't rule out going back to it at some point in the future, but this one was just much more historical than I tend to enjoy, so it just didn't quite work for me. So as I say, it's kind of a soft DNF. I may go back to it, but at least for now I've DNF'd this one. And for basically very similar reasons, I also DNF'd These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. The writing style just wasn't really meshing for me, and also, again, it was quite historical fiction in tone, which really is not my thing, so it just didn't really grab me, and I tried picking it up twice and it didn't really grab me either time. I can't remember now how far I got in because I think I took the bookmark out, but I think it was around 100 pages or so, and it just wasn't doing it for me, so I decided to DNF this one too. So that out of the way, I'll now go back to going through the things that I read and finished. The first one was Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. This was a really fun read. It was really enjoyable. It was easy to read. It's the first Elizabeth Lim book that I've read, but I do have her other two books just here. My Fairyly special editions of those came in, and I'm looking forward to reading those because I liked the writing style. I enjoyed the characters. And then after that one, I read Afterlove by Tanya Byrne. This one I really enjoyed as well. This one is pretty standard, kind of firmly set in fantasy. This one is kind of more along the lines of paranormal romance, I would say, but I really enjoyed it. I like paranormal, I like paranormal romance, so this one really worked for me as well. I wish that there were going to be a sequel. There isn't. This is a standalone, but it left me wanting more in a good way, so I enjoyed that one too. Then I read These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan, which is a fae type story, and it was fine, but I didn't love this one. Then I read The Bright and the Pale, which is very shiny, by Jessica Rubinkowski. I really liked this one. It's pretty kind of standard YA fantasy, lots of tropes that we're used to seeing, so it's nothing groundbreaking, but actually it was almost comforting in that familiarity, and I quite enjoyed myself. It was a very easy read. Then I read Forest of Souls by Laurie M. Lee, which again I found disappointing, unfortunately. I mean, it was fine, I did finish it, but I didn't love it by any means, and I feel like the magic wasn't well enough explained, and the characters, it was like I was watching, I think what it is it felt a little bit like I was watching a film rather than reading a book. And that doesn't really work for me because I don't see images in my head when I'm reading, and the reason I read is to be with the characters, and I just felt a bit removed, so that one sadly didn't work too well for me. Then I finished off the Serpent and Dove series by reading Gods and Monsters by Shelby Mahurin, and this one I really enjoyed actually. I thought it was a really great ending to the series. I still think she should have kept it as a duology because I did not like Blood and Honey. I don't think we needed that book, but this one was a really great conclusion and it was much darker in tone, which I really enjoyed. Then I don't have my copy on my person right now, but I did my reread of Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. Loved it. Don't need to say any more about that. Then I read The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. I also really enjoyed this one. It's a little bit heavier than the other book that I've read by her called... what is it called? The Kiss Quotient? The Kiss Quotient, I think. I haven't read her other... Yeah, so I've read The Kiss Quotient but not read The Bride Test. So it is slightly heavier in themes than The Kiss Quotient was, but I really enjoyed it and I really enjoyed those heavier themes as well. So this was another winner for me. Then I kind of went off the sub-box books thing because that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sub-box books plus 2 DNFs. So I kind of went off that for a minute and I read The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp, which is being turned into a film, which I think this will work really well as a film. This is kind of a thriller. I mean, it's YA, so it's not kind of super intense, but I guess it's a thriller. Basically, the character Nora is in a bank robbery, and it turns out that she was raised by a con woman, and so she kind of gets that personality back out of the recesses of her mind to try and get herself and her friends out of this bank robbery situation. And I really enjoyed it. It was a really good time. I read it in a day. Fun read. Then I read The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood and I loved it. I loved it so much. I did not talk about it in a vlog because it wasn't on theme for the sub-box books or the spooky reading weekend, but I loved this book. I actually already I wanted to reread it as soon as I finished reading it. I loved it. It has demisexuality rep, which just makes me so happy because there are so few books that have that representation and it's so nice to see it in a book. I really liked both of the characters. I really enjoyed the storyline. I liked the sciencey elements to it. It was fantastic and it's a debut novel. It's so impressive for a debut novel. Loved it. And then I read, well, not then I read, I mean, I've kind of been reading this alongside some things, but I also finished The Shadow Rising, which is Wheel of Time book 4 by Robert Jordan. I have a whole vlog dedicated just to this book, but it is spoilery. So if you don't want to watch that, what I will say about this is I liked it better than book 3. I don't think it has surpassed The Great Hunt, which is book 2. I think that one's still my favourite of the 4 so far, but I did really like this one. I particularly enjoy Perrin's story arc. Still not totally in love with the female characters. Still annoyed by Matt. Rand is also annoying, but there was lots of interesting kind of world building type things in this one, so I enjoyed it. And that's all I really feel like I can say about a 4th book in a series, so we're going to move on. Then I read my books for my spooky reading weekend. So the first book I read was The Keeper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker, and this one was another one that I found a bit disappointing. It was a bit younger than I was expecting, not as dark as I was expecting, and it didn't quite do it for me, sadly. And then I read The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, which really creeped me out, and the annoying really pissed me off. But again, I talk about this more in that vlog, which is definitely up, because it went up today, as in the day that I'm filming this, so I know that you have access to that one already. It's just the others, I don't know the order of things that I'm posting yet. Then I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Loved this, a really, really good time. I'm looking forward to reading the sequel. Hopefully I'll get a chance to do that in November, because in November I am reading sequels, and I do already have book 2 on hand. I was going to show it to you, but I can't actually reach it, so I guess I'm not doing that. And then finally I read Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. So again, I've talked about these in the Halloween reading vlog, so you can hear my full thoughts about them there. These have very similar premises. They both have a similar premise in that it is a teenager solving a mystery. This one's set in the UK, so I always really like it when YA books are set in the UK. For some reason it just feels really comforting to me. This one is set in America, in Vermont. Don't really know where that is, but that's where it's set. And I've actually read books 2 and 3 in this series since finishing this one. I decided to just go ahead and read those 2 straight away after, because they follow the same mystery, whereas it's just one mystery that is dealt with in this particular book, so I didn't want to kind of forget the details, so I went ahead and read the next 2 in that series in November, so you hear about those in the future. But that is it. Those are the 15 books that I read in the month of October. I think I did fairly well at getting through a decent chunk of my sub box books. I mean, I still have loads. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So I still have 22 sub-box books on my TBR. One of them I have actually started and I'm in the process of reading. And I should also point out that of those there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are sequels that I purchased separately, so that weren't in actual boxes, and another 2 that were purchased separately and weren't in actual boxes. So actual proper sub-box books, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of those. And 2 of them were the October book box books. So I don't feel too bad. I feel like I made a decent dent. I usually keep all of my sub-box books stacked over there next to my other bookcase. I feel like if I add all of these to that pile, it is going to get incredibly precarious. So I might have to rethink that whole situation, but it's a problem for another day. I think I will leave this there. So that's it for this one. Don't forget to check out Ponderful Books down in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, then do think about hitting that subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks!